Hi guys, my name is Tate and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. It's always good to have you here and I really do appreciate your support. So I was just wondering, like, how are you guys doing? I've actually never done like a check-in and I just thought, it's the end of the year. I'm personally suffering from end of year fatigue. It's been a very long year, a busy year, and I am now starting to feel exhausted and tired. I just need a vacation and I am literally counting down to December so that I can get to rest. So how are you guys doing? Please comment down below and just tell me, how are you doing? How has been your year so far? And what kind of things did you like about this year? What are you looking forward to next year? Let's just get some conversation going. So in today's video, I'm just gonna do a get to know me video. So I realized that when I started this channel, I actually never did a get to know me video. I mean, I did do what I termed my own get to know me video, which is the why I chose to be an environmental lawyer video, because I really thought that it touched a lot on why I'm doing the kind of work that I'm doing and the purpose of the channel as well. So if you haven't watched that video, please go back and watch it. It's one of the first videos that I ever posted where I'm basically talking about why I chose this career of environmental law and my passion around it and what motivates me. But today I just thought to do something that is not really related to the environmental law field but just about me. I'm thinking of doing a two-part series. So today's video is going to be a bit more get to know me in terms of work related stuff, like career related stuff. How do I work? What do I like to do when I'm working? This kind of questions. And then I'm going to do a second part which will be a bit more relaxed than this, and I think a bit more fun, because that's where we get the nitty-gritties of who Tatenda is. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this video, and before wasting more time, let's get into it. So I actually wrote down a set of questions. I had to Google questions because I just thought asking people questions might take a little bit more time. So I just thought, let me just Google some questions and try to answer those, and then maybe next time you guys can post some questions to me and then I'll answer that. So like I said, we're going to be doing more of a get to know me professional type of video. I hope it's not going to be too professional. I don't think it is. Actually, before I get into the first question, for people who are new to my channel, my name is Tatenda and I'm an environmental lawyer and an activist. And if you want to know more about my career, why I chose this video, like I mentioned earlier, please do go and watch my video titled Why I Chose to be an Environmental Lawyer, because it will give you more in-depth information. So now let's get into the questions. The first question is, do you love your job? I mean, I do love my job. I do think that I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I'm doing the kind of work that inspires me. That's something that I'm really passionate about. So I wake up every day happy because I'm really doing something that I love to do. What is the best and hardest part of your job? Wow, okay. This is a bit dense. So the best part of my job, I think it's just like, when you wake up and you know that whatever you're going to be doing, whether it's small or big, it's going to make a positive impact on other people's lives. I think that's the best part of my job, just knowing that whatever result I achieve, it's really going to help other people. And for me, it's really about improving people's lives, helping them and making sure that their circumstances are better than they were before. So just like doing that kind of work, whether it's like writing a letter that's going to change that, or it's like litigation that if it's successful, it's really going to change a lot of people's lives in a positive way. I think that's really the best part of my job. But also, it's also like, law is a high stress type of profession, but I think my job, the way we work, the culture at my workplace is a bit more relaxed and and people really take care of people's mental health and well-being, and I really like that. So I'll also say that's the best part of my job, apart from the work itself. Just like the working conditions are also like really great. The hardest part about my job, I'd say, is just a fight. I mean, it's a fight. A lot of people don't understand environmental protection. They don't understand issues around climate justice and environmental justice. So just like constantly having to fight to get people to understand you, to understand the type of work that you do. There's several misconceptions about it. So just like getting people to understand that, and people like engaging with you, it's like very hard. But also what's hard about it is like going into these communities that are affected by so many environmental injustices, pollution and all of that, and you see how people are suffering and they're being sold dreams about development and how their lives will improve if these development activities come to them, but actually it's not happening on the ground. It's very hard to deal with that. Like sometimes it just gets too intense, you get so emotional, and then you realize I actually have to do something to help these people. It might take long, it might be quick, but just the feeling of I'm at least trying to do something for them. Some of the things are so devastating, and I think it's very hard. Sometimes it can take a very big emotional toll or mental toll on you. But like I said, the best part of it is knowing that whatever work you're putting in is actually going to change people's lives at the end of the day. So I guess it kind of like balances it out ultimately. Whew. Clearly I'm a lawyer, I talk a lot. If you were not a lawyer, what would you have been? I would have been a writer. Definitely a writer. I would have been a writer. I really love the idea of writing and just like sitting down and crafting stories or just like talking. I probably would have been a storyteller or a writer. What do you prefer? Emails, text, or phone calls? Please email me. Please email me. I hate phone calls. I am not prepared when I'm taking a phone call, and I'm the kind of person who really likes to be prepared. I want to apply my mind to things. So if you're calling me, unless if it's like a check-in of something or you just want something quick, but if you really want something like constructive, something where I really need to apply my mind to that thing, please just email me, because that gives me time to really think about a response. But also it's just easier for you to email me because I'm most likely going to be on my emails than on my phone. With text, please just text me if it's like very urgent or like an emergency, because like I said, chances are I'm actually going to see my emails first, then I'm going to see my texts or be on my phone. So rather just like email me. I think it's very easy for me. I work better if you're just like emailing me, because it gets frustrating for me when I'm constantly checking my phone and emails at the same time. So I just prefer emails. I'll respond to you on email. The next question is, what current world issues are really troubling you? I mean, there's a lot happening in the world, right? I mean, obviously there's the Russian-Ukrainian war, which has its own implications, and that's just really troubling. Because I don't want to make this video too long and get into all the issues that are troubling me, that are happening around the world. I think one of the issues I want to touch on would be the issue around climate change, because I think that people are not exactly aware of it, but also a lot of people or world leaders and countries are not acting with the kind of agency that is required to deal with climate change. It is upon us. A lot of people are suffering from the impacts of climate change. A lot of women, a lot of children, they are suffering from those things. And the thing about it is that it's often the poor people who suffer the brunt of climate impacts, and we're not doing much about it. So for me, I think it's something that it's really troubling me that people are seeing all these things that are happening, the devastating floods, the wildfires, the droughts that are happening, especially across Africa. There's not a lot of rainfall that is happening anymore, and people are seeing these things and they know what the science is saying, but they're just not acting with agency. I think the other thing I'll touch on and just end there is the issue around gender-based violence. That has been an issue that's been so close to my heart, because I don't understand why other human beings feel the need to violate others. I think it disregards people's rights to bodily integrity, their dignity. You can't keep having women, especially like being fearful of their lives. You know, we all have a right to live here where we are. We all have rights to move around in a safe place, you know, like to just be free. But it's so difficult for women to actually just have that freedom to move around and without fear. Like, I know sometimes I'm like walking on the road and I'm passing by a guy and I kind of like tense up, right? Even though that guy is not going to say anything or do anything, but the fact that I'm passing by this little corner and there's like men there, or I'm going to pass by a guy, I never know what he's going to do. It's not a safe place for women. Like, this world is not a safe place for women, and I wish things were different. I think we need to do something in order to make it a much better safe place for women, wherever they are, whether they're in their homes or they're out there on the streets. I think we need to deal with the issue of gender-based violence. If you could change one thing about the world, regardless of guilt or politics, what would you do? I think we need visionary leaders in positions of power. That is the one thing I would really do. That a lot of the countries are being led by people who are not visionaries, people who do not think beyond the now, people who are just focused about what's happening now, the present, or like being corrupt and just getting what they can get while they are ruling, without necessarily thinking about the future, you know. So I do think that we need visionary leaders, people who are not fearful, people who are bold enough to like make those decisions that need to be made now in order for us to have a better future. What was the first profession you thought about taking in your life? This is actually gonna be funny. So when I was young, I wanted to be a housemaid. I don't know why. I think I just really liked the fact that you'll be helping people, being there for people, you know, like just basically taking care of people. And I always used to say I want to be a housemaid when I grow up. But then I think around the age of 5, 6 there, I turned around, and then now it's like I want to be an author. I really did stay with wanting to be an author until like my teenage years, at some point when I realized actually I'm very interested in the law and I would like to pursue the law. So I think if I'm gonna say what was the first profession that I really wanted to do, really, I would say being a writer has always been like something I wanted to do for the longest of time. If you were independently wealthy and didn't have to work, what would you do with your time? I would travel. I would be like a professional traveler, okay? I love to travel, and if money was not an issue, I would be traveling. I don't think it's something I would ever get tired of. I don't think it's something I would be like, oh my gosh, that's too much traveling. Like, I just really have this thing within me where I want to be out there, seeing places, you know, being immersed in nature. Like, I don't know, like being on top of a mountain somewhere, or like in a bush somewhere. Like, I would really travel, and probably like write as well, you know, like going into some cabin up the mountain somewhere and just like write a book or a poem or something like that. I think that would be me. What would you like to do when you retire? I was actually laughing the other day because I think somebody was talking about retirement funds. What is it called? Retirement annuity or pension plan, pension benefits or something like that. And I was actually laughing, like, it's so funny how you have to start planning about your retirement right now, right? Not when you're close to retirement. I mean, it's a bit more smart to start thinking about it now. But I don't know. I think for me, I don't think I'll ever like retire. I'll probably retire from the legal profession, but in terms of like working itself, I don't think I'll ever like retire. I do have a couple of ideas of the things that I'd like to do if I'm gonna step out of the legal profession, you know, like, I don't know, maybe move to the countryside, have a farm, or keep horses and run some kind of like resort or something. Like I don't see myself never working at all. I really like to keep busy, so I think my retirement plan will probably be like some other type of work that is not the legal type of stuff. What skill would you most like to learn? Languages. I would really love to learn lots of languages. I struggle with languages. I don't know why I struggle with languages, but I really love to learn more languages. I mean, I've lived in South Africa for years and I still struggle with local languages. I do kind of like understand when people are saying certain things in Zulu or in Xhosa. That's not even how you pronounce it, but anyway, I do understand certain things, but I can't like speak it. I'm not proficient. So I'd really love to learn languages. I did try to learn Spanish. I love learning Spanish, but I'm not proficient yet. I do know like some words, you know, like when you're watching a Spanish movie or a movie where people say something in Spanish and you're like, oh my gosh, I know that. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at, but I'm not like proficient. I'm not like, yeah, I can speak Spanish. I can't confidently say that, but I do know some words. I would really love to learn languages. Do you work better in the morning or evening? Hey, I work better in the morning. I'm not gonna lie, I work better in the morning. I suck in the evening. Like I do not even try to do a lot of intense work in the evening unless I really have to. Most of the times, like I'm more productive in the morning until around 2 p.m. and then I just want to nap. Okay, I just want to sleep. Whatever I'm doing after 2 p.m, my energy is so low. It's not as high as it was in the morning. So I'd say like I'm very much of a morning person than I am of a night owl. You can ban one interview question from the interview process. What would that question be? It would be, tell me about yourself. Honestly, I think that question is very necessary to the interview process because, you know, people want to get to know you, and I believe it's more than just about what's on your CV, you know. It's about you, but also being careful what parts of you answer to. I mean, everything has to connect at the end of the day, but I really dread that question. Like honestly, it requires a lot of thinking because a lot of things can go wrong from that first question, right? And normally it's like one of the first few questions people ask you. So I think like it's such a dreadful question, and it could be asked in different ways without necessarily saying, tell me about yourself, because now I'm thinking, what exactly do you want to know? Like, do you want to know me as a person? Like, you know, I love hiking, I love like just chilling on rocks, or do you want to know my professional me? Like, what exactly do you want to know, right? So it's kind of like confusing. Maybe that's just for me. I don't know with other people how they feel about that question. Please tell me down below in the comment section how you feel about this question, because for me, I just think like it's such a dreadful question. Even though it's very important in the interview process, I think it could be rephrased or like ask it in a different way without saying, tell me about yourself, you know. Prefer working remotely or in the office? So this is actually an interesting question. So before COVID, I used to go to the office every single day, you know, to work there. And I really loved, you know, going to the office is like you're meeting people, you are creating these relationships with your co-workers, getting to know who's who, and actually like communicating with people in the flesh. And it's really great. Like honestly, I think it's great. But ever since COVID happened and we started working from home most of the times, I mean until now we're not in lockdown anymore, but we're still working from home. And for me, working remotely has been like the best thing ever that has ever happened, because I regulate myself, you know. I'm also able to like concentrate, especially if I'm doing more focused work, and there's no you don't have that risk of someone just coming knocking on your office door and be like, hey, how are you? And now you're chatting and you're supposed to probably be drafting an affidavit and stuff. So I think I really do prefer working from home. It's something that I've gotten used to, and I struggle every time I have to go to the office because we're trying to do like this hybrid thing where we go to the office at least 2 times a week or something, and I struggle on the days that I actually have to go to the office. Like, I come back and I think, oh my gosh, I actually didn't do a lot of work when I was at the office than I would have done if I was at home, you know. So I think working from home is like the thing for me now. I've done a video before about how to be productive when you are working from home, so you can look for it amongst my other videos if you are curious as to how you can be productive if you're working remotely. And then the next question is, what scares you professionally speaking? I think there's a lot of things that scares me, especially with the profession that I've chosen. Like, you know, just being an environmental activist is risky sometimes, if not all the times. You know, you're always like a target sometimes, and there's quite a lot of environmental activists who have lost their lives, you know, people whose lives are literally at risk, people getting arrested for no reason. And for me, I'm not gonna lie and say I don't have that fear, because it's a real thing, it's a real threat that's happening amongst environmental defenders. But also, I think what would scare me the most also professionally is just being misquoted. You know, when you say something and people take it in the wrong context, or they just misquote you or misrepresent what you said. I have like a huge fear of that, because I just think it's like the most awful thing that can happen, because now you have to come and defend yourself and try to re-explain what exactly you meant and all of that. And for me, that's just like so scary. Like, please don't misquote me. So every time I go out in the public and I'm saying things, even on my YouTube, I'm just like very conscious of, I hope nobody's gonna misquote me or misrepresent or take things that I'm saying out of context, because that's not my intention, you know. So I think I do have a fear around that. The last question is, how do you deal with work stress? I think for this particular question, my answer is going to be, it depends on what's stressing me out. Sometimes if it's like somebody who's stressing me out, I could go and talk to someone else that I trust and just like, you know, get some advice around that, and then I'll probably feel fine. Sometimes I just like take some time off if I'm being stressed by the work itself. Sometimes I just have to, you know, take a time out and breathe and then come back to it. So I could like go and make some food or just do something that's not related to work for a few minutes or so, and then come back to it. But also like just switching off, it really helps me. So sometimes, depending on the amount of work that I have, I can just work for, say, I clock off at around 5, 5:30 or 6, depending on what's happening on that day. And then after that, I'm just not going to do anything work related, like nothing work related. I'm not going to be checking any emails, even if they come in. I'm just going to be doing me, even if it means just sitting and doing nothing, or just like listening to music or reading a novel or something that's just not work related. Those things really help me to deal with stress, because hey, work never ends. Hey, and somebody was telling me that, you know, when you die, they're just gonna replace you immediately. They're not gonna even wait for your burial. They'll be thinking about your replacement. So you don't really need to dedicate your whole entire life to this thing, because you know, you need to take care of yourself as well. So I do think like just having that balance between your work life is very important. And when you're in stress situations, just like taking the time off instead of continuing, because that's going to be more stressful for you. So I think the time outs really help, the breathing or just doing something that's not related to the kind of work that you're doing that's stressing you out. Those things really help. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and please be on the lookout for the next segment of this video. Like I said, I'm going to be filming a get to know me video part 2, which will be more personal questions and I think more fun and interesting questions. So please be on the lookout for it in the next coming weeks.